The Rode NT1 is a microphone line that has a history stretching all the way back to the 90s. It's a face, or pop shield, I should say, that the audio industry has grown to love and trust over the years. But does the NT1 Signature Series still hold up in 2026? Let's find out. Radio.co. But before we get started, if you're in the market for equipment to start your very own radio station or podcast, we've set up a list of equipment to suit every budget. From mics, mixers, headphones, boom arms, and even soundproofing solutions, we've got you sorted. Plus, we're constantly updating it. So even if this video is now a few years old, the guide will include the latest and greatest gear that we use here at Radio.co. Head to the link in the description to go check it out for yourself. So full disclosure, Rode sent us this sexy red version of the NT1, but we're not being paid and under no obligation to say any nice things about it. Which is a shame, because I'm mostly going to say nice things about it anyway. Now, I imagine the majority of you will be watching this video to decide whether or not the NT1 Signature Series is any good. Usually this would trigger a pretty long, convoluted reply that would end up in lots of different segments and take about 10 minutes roughly to get to the answer to please the YouTube algorithm. But it's really not that complicated with the NT1, especially if you're looking for a versatile and reliable condenser mic. In fact, I'm just going to break all known YouTube laws and just say, yeah, it's really good. So yeah, you're welcome to leave this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, click subscribe, and wait a second. While there's nothing really wrong with the Signature NT1, there are a number of factors to consider before hitting that purchase button. This is a mic for anyone, but not for everyone, if that makes sense. I love this mic, but it's not one I usually grab for absolutely everything I do. But I'm getting way ahead of myself here, so let's take a closer look at the mic first. The NT1 Signature Series was released back in November 2023, so it's a couple of years old now, but it's still the most modern iteration of the NT1 yet. Well, unless you count the NT1 5th generation, which is technically the most current generation, with one crucial difference to this. That has USB-C connection as well as an XLR input. You can check out our comparison between the two mics here. But back to this for a second. Inside the box, you get an SM6 pop shield, the PSM1 suspension mount, a little pouch, and an XLR cable, and of course, the microphone itself. Now, I still think this is really impressive from Rode to include all this, especially now that we live in a world where Apple doesn't even include the blooming plug anymore. The mic itself maintains that classic NT1 look, changing very little from the 4 generations preceding it. The only real difference here is that the latest version is ever so slightly shorter, and you obviously get a choice of colors now. We've got the red one here. The build quality is still made up of aluminium, and it still feels extremely premium and robust. This fella should be able to take a lot of hits and scuffs without much visible difference to the look of the mic. Plus, Rode offers a 10-year warranty with this mic, which is absolutely insane. So if the problem is covered under the warranty, Rode should be able to sort you out. Now, unlike the 5th generation's hybrid USB and XLR offering, the 5th generation keeps things simple and obviously only includes XLR. This is a downside if that hybrid kind of model suits your workflow. For instance, perhaps you need to take your mic on the go, and the ability to connect to your laptop without an audio interface does suit your needs. You will also miss out on that onboard DSP and 32-bit float recording, instead relying entirely on phantom power and an audio interface. I'm obviously recording currently through the NT1 Signature Series through to our Rodecaster Duo. But if you're not asked about this, and you're always going to use XLR to plug it into your existing interface or mixer, then you're essentially getting that 5th generation model just for a cheaper price. Speaking of which, at the time of recording, the Signature Series ranges between $115 and $125, while the 5th gen ranges from about $165 to $195. Now, I'll chuck the actual specs of the mic on screen now, but the highlights are that 20 Hz to 20 kHz frequency range, which we've found to be perfect for sort of spoken word and lyrics and that kind of thing. In fact, the audio quality produced by this mic is generally pretty good overall. It might peak slightly in the highs, and the lows will probably need a bit of a gain boost, but the mids are where the Signature Series really shines. There's also a tight cardioid polar pattern, which can be perfect for isolating loud background noises. However, I do always find that the NT1 needs a fair bit of audio processing for my voice in particular, and you might find that the analog nature means that the quality of your audio interface also impacts the sound you'll get from it. Okay, so just before we wrap things up, I thought I'd do a very quick sound test. Now, obviously, the whole time I've been recording using the NT1 Signature Series, but I've also been using the NT1 preset on our Rodecaster Duo. So to give you an all-round idea of the sound output, I'm going to turn off audio processing now. Okay, so I've just turned off audio processing so you can hear the mic without any of the bells and whistles that the Rodecaster Duo is providing. Are you likely to use it like this? Probably not, but I thought I'd show you anyway, as this is effectively the mic you're buying, not the processing. However, like I say, you will be running this through a mixer or an audio interface anyway, so you're obviously going to tinker with the sound, but hey. Okay, and now processing is back on. So the NT1 5th Gen sounds pretty much identical, but if you'd like to hear that one for yourself, why not head over to our review of the NT1 5th Gen up here. Okay, so who is this for? And why don't I use it more often in 2026? Well, for all the reasons mentioned, I think this is an amazing mic for studios. Places with mixers like the Rodecaster Duo behind me already integrated, allowing for this mic to be controlled and designed perfectly. For radio in particular, I've always found like this kind of looks good in a radio studio. It goes for that sort of classic radio look in your setup. And also, while I haven't tested this myself, as I'm not a musician, the NT1 is also quite well regarded by those who produce music, whether that be in vocal or instrument recordings. So if you are recording in a studio, this guy should do you well. But for me personally, as a video and podcast producer, I often find that the NT1 Signature Series and the whole NT1 lineup actually to be slightly cumbersome in my setups. For video in particular, having such a massive microphone does take up someone's face and can be slightly distracting and irritating when positioning for optimum performance. When setting up this video, I had to make sure I wasn't blocking my face too much, and throughout the whole recording, I've had to make sure I haven't accidentally knocked it or something like that. That said, I do often reach for it when I'm in our sound booth and recording some sort of like voiceover stuff, because like I say, it does sound really good in the mids when compared to an all-rounder like the Shure SM7B. But the Shure SM7B is a smaller and better mic for visual things. So I'd probably use the Shure SM7B in here when recording, and then the Rode NT1 in the sound booth when doing some voice stuff. What do you think? I'd love to know in the comments below. Do you have one of these? Are you still using it in 2026? Let us know. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, click subscribe, and ring the bell. Thank you very much for watching, and happy broadcasting.
And just before you go, have you ever thought about launching your very own radio station? What if I told you that it's literally never been easier to do just that? Especially with our award-winning Radio.co platform at your fingertips, and broadcasting experts there to guide you all the way. Want to know how? Then book in a free demo by visiting radio.co/demo to schedule in a quick, casual, helpful conversation with myself or a colleague. We'll even give you 20% off your subscription just for attending. It's all right, isn't it? We'll show you just how easy it is to get your own internet radio station up and running in mere minutes. Whether it's building playlists of your favorite music, scheduling in a live, real-time program, even building your very own branded mobile apps, Radio.co does it all. Still interested? Well, visit radio.co/demo and let's live out your dream of running your very own global internet radio station.